like a vote.
Is it a tree?
Good evening, everybody. I'll call to order the regular board meeting of the Board of Library Trustees on Tuesday, May 21st, 2024. First thing we need to do is the Pledge of Allegiance, and Catherine, would you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mary Ann, would you call the roll?
Carlotta? Here. Dishman?
Here.
Ford? Here. Hubbard? Here. Larson? Here. Russo?
Here.
Lasano? Here.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Number 4 is comments from the audience. Would anyone here or online like to speak tonight? Okay, moving on then. Number 5, would someone like to make a motion to approve or amend the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
A motion by trustee Ford and a second by trustee Larson. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the agenda is approved. Number 6 on our agenda is a number of items that are on the consent agenda. Most of the items were discussed in detail at our last COW meeting, so I'll review those now. The first is regular board meeting minutes for April 16th, 2024. The next item is the April 2024 financials. The next item is a resolution 2024-004, making Don Robinson the library's authorized agent for the Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund. The next item is ordinance 2024-005, specifying the library board's regular meeting schedule for 2024-25. Next item is ordinance 2024-006, adopting a policy on services to non-residents. Next item is approving a switch to current technologies for IT support. And the last item is the approval of the capital asset study. Yes. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I will move to approve the consent agenda. Second.
Motion by trustee Fasano and a second by trustee Hubbard. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the consent agenda is approved. Number 7, select and approve proposal for security cameras and access control installation.
Is
Joe?
number 6 supposed to be a roll call? The consent agenda?
Yeah, because the financials are.
Okay, I'm sorry. Would you call the roll?
Carlotta?
Aye.
Dishman?
Aye.
Ford?
Aye.
Hubbard? Aye. Larson?
Aye.
Russo?
Aye.
Lasano? Aye.
Thanks for catching that. Okay, number 7, the security camera installation.
So at the committee of the whole meeting, we reviewed and discussed the 6 proposals that were submitted for the security camera installation and access panel updates. And Andrew and Molly and I had created this chart. It's on page 49 of your packet that you also saw last at the COW meeting, where we critiqued each of the vendors based on meeting the minimum qualifications or what the RFP was asking for. And it also listed what their total price was going to be to do the project, etc. So we had bids that ranged from $78,000 to almost $178,000. We, of the 6 vendors who applied or submitted a proposal, only 3 of them actually complied with the minimum qualifications we were looking for, and those were AKA Computer Solutions, Current Technologies, and Scientel Solutions. And then we looked at the qualifications and experience. We looked at key personnel certifications, education, experience, and qualifications, quality and relevance of their references. We also looked at the overall proposal, if it was complete, the quality of the proposal, what they included in regards to support and maintenance for this project, system configuration, required camera specs, and the required indoor and outdoor camera specs. And so when we went through each of the proposals and looked at all that criteria, and then we also rated them on overall costs. So when we went through and rated them on all these different things, we came up with final scores for AKA Computer Solutions was a 12. And Biz Ray Tech was 9.2. CTS was 7.0. Current Technologies was 13.8. Scientel Solutions was 12, and Tailored Security was 7.0. So of those three that are of the highest rank, Current Technologies has the lowest cost. There was the only thing that was missing from their proposal was those automatic doors, right? And they have sent us a quote about that, and I think it was about $8,000. So that brings their total to about $112,000, which is still the lowest of the three bids. That scored the highest. So that's kind of where we're at. Now, Current Technologies was we had put an RFP out before. I don't even remember, was it in February, I think? And we posted it on our website, and we posted it on another, a website that, you know, shares these proposals with the public or with other companies, et cetera. But we didn't really get any replies except for Current Technologies. So we did the walkthrough with them, et cetera, et cetera. But we needed to have more responses. So then I signed up with DemandStar, and they work with government agencies for RFPs and proposals like this. So we posted it on DemandStar, and we put it in the Kane County Chronicle. And then we got quite a few interested who came through the required walkthrough. We did not ask Current Technologies to come back for that required walkthrough because they'd already been through a walkthrough with us when we did the first round of proposals. So anyway, that's kind of a little bit of history about how this all came together.
I think it's interesting that CTS, which is the highest priced, also has the lowest score, along with one other.
Yeah, because they were missing big information about personnel, experience, qualifications. They didn't have any references included. You know.
Any questions?
Did they, so Current Technologies, did they revise their cost, or did you use the number they gave you the first time?
No, so the 104, so they actually, if you add another 8,000 to cover those automatic doors, it's 112.
Gotcha. But they came through and gave a price to us 6 months ago, or whenever that was. Is this the price they gave us 6 months ago, or did they
Yeah,
give you a new?
That's the price they gave us 6 months ago.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry, that is the original price. And then when we told them they were missing that part, and you know, what would that cost? Because we wanted to know if it was really going to make a big difference. And they said it would be about $8,000.
Okay. And did they know they were getting because these are the same folks that are going to do our computer stuff too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did those tie together? Did that affect their price? Do you know,
No,
for one or the
they're
other?
completely separate.
Okay.
And Current Technologies, as I said in my report, because we're currently with Webbit, but Current Technologies is about $3,000 less a month than Webbit, because Webbit's changing their whole pricing formats, et cetera, and so they were going to be go up to about $7,000 a month. But Current Technologies is able to do our IT support for about $4,000 a month, so quite a difference. And it's completely separate from the cameras and there's no real crossover.
Okay.
Would someone like to make a motion?
I move to approve the proposal for security camera and access control installation to current technology.
And a second?
I'll second that.
So a motion by trustee Larson and a second by trustee Fasano. Any further questions or discussion? Then Mary Ann, would you call the roll?
Yes, Kulana?
Aye.
Deitchman?
Aye.
Ford?
Aye.
Hubbard?
Aye.
Larson?
Aye.
Russo?
Aye.
Fasano? Aye.
And it's approved then for the security camera control and installation for current technologies. Okay, moving on. Number 8, select and approve strategic planning proposal.
Oh. Sorry, I was thinking about something. So page 50. So Library Strategies and Fast Forward Libraries are the two consulting firms that we are considering. And Library Strategies is based, they have two people who kind of do that company. One is in Madison and the other I think is, I don't remember, out of state. And they put together a lengthier proposal for the board to review for today that just gives a little more detail. And then Fast Forward Libraries was the original proposal we had last month that we wanted to just be able to compare it to somebody else, or another company. It came in at about $24,900 or something. And Library Strategies, their proposal, which if you look really closely at it, it appears to be much less expensive. It's $19,800. Plus, they're going to have about $2,200 in travel costs. But there is, if you look on page 66 of your packet where they have their schedule of costs, one thing that is optional on their proposal is the phase 2. Everything in phase 2 is considered optional. So they didn't include those costs in their total. But those same things like the staff survey and the board and staff sessions were included in Fast Forward Libraries. So even though it looks like they're cheaper, they're not, because and also Fast Forward Library says you can pick and choose because they break it down, different things that you can and can't do. But their cost included those two things that are considered optional for Library Strategies. So even though so I wanted to make sure that the board understood that when they're considering these two proposals.
Yeah, I was going to say that's not inexpensive, and you would want key stakeholders involved with this, so that I wouldn't consider phase 2 optional.
I was surprised that the whole phase was
Yeah.
optional. I mean, but it just seems kind of odd.
I mean, I could see them say like, hey, if you wanted to save costs, we'll cut off the one-on-ones and just do
Sure,
surveys.
and there
That
are-
is one thing, but
Exactly. There's a lot of libraries who will do, they'll kind of pick and choose, do it a la carte. And that's an option with both of them, to be honest, but they just broke it down in this way, and I just thought they kind of organized their strategy a little differently, but there's a lot of crossover about the basic gist of what they're going to do and how they'll do it.
I don't suppose somebody went through and looked at all the tasks that each of them have and to come up with a cost, what a comfortable cost would be if they both did the exact same scope?
I try to, but they're not exactly, and
Sure.
how they put it on paper, it's not exactly
Okay.
match up. But, well, if you just look at, gosh, I hope I have it in here. I put it on a Post-it note, and I bet I left it on my desk. So the phase, phase 1 for Library Strategies was Well, their benchmark analysis was optional, but, so the proposal costs $3,600, right, for phase one. Phase two, if we were to do just the first two things, the staff survey and the board and staff sessions, that's $4,500. Then phase three is $9,000, and then they have a fourth phase, which is $7,200. Now, with Fast Forward Libraries, their phase one total was $13,900, phase two was $6,900, and phase three was $4,100, and they only had 3 phases. So it's kind of hard to, if you look at it just by how they break it up into sections, to evenly compare them. But there's the optional costs that are listed in library strategies are included in the phase two, I believe, of Fast Forward Libraries. I have to really think before I say the company's name because I don't want to mess them up. But they kind of break it down. Actually, Fast Forward Libraries breaks it down into greater detail. But one of the things that, which one was it? I can't remember now if it was Fast Forward Libraries or the other one, where they said they would do these one-on-one sessions, which I don't know. That was like an extra thing.
I think that was the first one, yeah.
Yeah, and I just didn't include that when I was kind of tallying up. So if we did library strategies and we just added the 2 optional things in phase 2, the first 2, it would be another $4,500 on top of their $2,100. So, I mean, they're very close.
Okay.
When it's all said and done. Both companies will have to do some travel costs because none of them are in the Chicago area. However, Fast Forward Libraries includes their travel costs in their proposal, and Library Strategies has it as a separate amount, and they have to fly in. One of them has to fly in, but I think Fast Forward Libraries is out of, is it Springfield or Champaign?
Champaign.
So they may do it all in a day and not have hotel costs and flight costs, et cetera. So anyway, that kind of summarizes. I think either one will do a great job. I've not worked with either one. I know of both of them, and I know libraries who have worked with both of them, and I've never heard bad things about either one. So,
What's your?
I liked the proposal that the Fast Forward Libraries put together, and they just, I guess, have worked with more Chicago area libraries, and not just on strategic planning, but they also do workshops and training sessions, so they have a strong connection to the library community in Chicago. And I think they would be easy to work with. I thought their proposal was, I liked the way it was organized, I liked the detail. I wasn't sure, about, sorry, they had sorry, I have to find it. Oh, I'm in library strategies, that's why. They had an area, I was like, what does that really mean?
Page 1, 2, and 3.
It was on page, sorry. Yeah, their library strategic capacity assessment. They have some terminology that is kind of like, wow, what does that really mean? But other than that, I thought it was good.
Have you talked with any of their references?
No, I just have heard from libraries who recommended them.
Okay.
When I reached out looking for consultants to contact. But they didn't give me any more details than we worked with them, they were great. very kind of simple and straightforward.
Yeah, that they wouldn't have recommended them if they weren't satisfied, I would imagine.
Or they would have said,
Don't work with
them,
them.
but you have problems. But, I've never heard anything negative about either one.
The fast forward proposal, Amanda Standerford,
Yes, I think so.
she did one of those workshops from the Illinois Library Association for trustees. So, I
Were you
think
there?
that,
Did you go to her session?
I did.
Yeah.
She was part of a group and she was very good and seemed like she would be easy to work with.
I think they both would. It's
I think it was good to get two proposals too, and the fact that they're in the same ballpark means that the cost-wise, we're not being taken advantage of.
No. And we can go through both proposals and, pick and choose things that we do or don't want to use. I mean, there's more detail in the proposal, breaking it down by different price points, et cetera, in Fast Forward. So we could go through that and say, well, we don't really need this, we could do this. So we could bring that price down if we really wanted to.
It seems like Fast Forward in their client list has more communities they've worked with in Illinois. Do you think
Yeah.
that makes a big difference is there anything unique about I know the way we fund libraries is maybe unique from other states, but is there anything about the way we want to do planning that would be unique to Illinois versus other states, do you think?
I think in general, Illinois is so supportive of their library systems that it's just it's a great state to be a public librarian. And there's a lot of networking and support out there that you may or may not see in other states. I know it's hard for me to answer that because I just don't know enough about outside of Illinois, especially the Chicago area. The library communities can be so different from city to city, state to state. I know in the South it's very different from up here.
Sure.
I
I didn't see a big list of clients from Library Strategies, just their 3 references.
Yeah. Fast Forward Libraries, I think, comes up more frequently than Library Strategies, and that's probably because they're not in-state, to be honest,
What do you need from us?
You guys get to pick.
That's why I asked what you got for them.
Well, and then I think, more to Jen's question, it's beyond, because we talked about that we can pick and choose and things like that. So is it, we're choosing who we're starting negotiations with to?
Yeah, you could look at it that way. Although I think what Library Strategies put together, that might not be as negotiable because in their proposal, it's like, these are the core things that we're going to do. I mean, they've already eliminated a whole phase by making it optional. But I do know with Fast Forward Libraries, when I talked to her on the phone, she did say, you can pick and choose from this proposal, and that's why they break it down into quite a bit of detail. So, but I met with both companies. They were both super easy to, they'll both be great to work with. So it's hard to say.
I think Fast Forward obviously is more accessible because they are relatively close to us. And
There's going to be a lot of Zooming between both of them.
Yeah.
And Fast Forward will be in person, but I forget what phase it was. But they will be coming in person. I think it was for phase 2, when they're doing a lot of the talking with the board, talking with the staff. And both plans, and this is very common with strategic planning. The process when you work with a consultant is you form a strategic planning committee. It's made up of staff, possibly board members, maybe somebody on the Friends, and that steering committee of 5-6 people works very closely with the consultant through this whole process. I mean, the directors, I will be working with them the most closely, but it won't be just me representing the library. It will be a group of people from different perspectives in relation to the library that will be working with them. And they're both going to be doing that, you know, have that approach.
So Library Strategies does have a list of clients.
Mhm.
It's in the front instead of in the back.
Yeah.
So it's not as
They're both,
extensive.
I think library strategy is just so interesting because it's a branch of their friends of the library,
Mhm.
wasn't that?
That did
Yeah.
strike me, yeah.
So it's really interesting how they all came about. But I don't know,
It's an interesting way to fund your friends of the library.
yeah.
I'm going to make a motion to move and approve and accept the proposal from Fast Forward to help the library prepare its next strategic plan. Second.
A motion by trustee Collada and a second by trustee Hubbard. Any further discussion? And this would be a roll call vote. So Marianne, would you call the roll?
Collada,
Aye.
Deitchman,
Aye.
Ford,
Aye.
Hubbard,
Aye.
Larson,
Aye.
Russo,
Aye.
Lozano, aye.
And the motion was approved. Okay. Moving on, number 9, approval of the FY25 working budget.
Yes, so 95.
Move it.
Okay, so the only thing that has changed since the committee of the whole meeting is that Joe, before he left, was able to confirm that our rate with IMRF is 7.8 or something. So he was able to take about $40,000 off of, where is that? Oh, so on page 97, under special funds expense, 11 IMRF, when you first saw this, the draft, it was 200,000, and now it's at 159,281, about 160. So the proposed, the final proposed budget for, sorry, is 5 point, where is that? 5.43. I have it in my director's report, I'm so sorry. Well, anyway, it's.
5.4,037,281.
Yes, oh, it's, I have it highlighted in yellow, yes, okay.
I could read this one, the cow one is a lot smaller. Thank you for making this a lot
Yes.
bigger.
So anyway, that is then the final proposed budget for fiscal year '25.
And I want to acknowledge that this does include a balanced budget, but also a transfer to the special reserve of $750,000 included in the budgeted amount,
Yes, correct.
which is more than we budgeted last year.
Yes, and that's in my report, if I can just find it in our. Okay, so in my report, I outline the basic, significant things to note about this proposal. So the fund revenue, we anticipate it'll be up 7%. Our fund expenses, library fund expenses will be up about 5%. We anticipate transferring we've budgeted to transfer $750,000 to special reserves. In fiscal year '24, we budgeted $625,000. However, we are able to transfer above that. We may be able to do that as well next year, but conservatively, we're saying $750,000. Our special funds revenue is down 2%. That's for IMRF and, the building and maintenance fund and, et cetera, those special funds. And the expenses are up 5%. However, as Joe pointed out, the totals, the balance in those funds we need to make sure that doesn't get too high. So it's okay if our expenses are a little bit higher than the income because we want to make sure that those don't go higher than they should. So, yeah, I rounded it off, but so the total fiscal year '25 budget is $5,438,000. which is about a 6.5% increase from fiscal year '24, which was $5,097,201. Does that sound good, Don?
Sounds great.
And Jenny, just to piggyback on what you said, the special reserve fund is used for maintenance of the building and,
Yes,
Well, the special reserve fund is used for special.
capital improvements.
Capital improvements. We do have a building fund.
Right.
That can be used for some of those other
Correct.
more annual costs. But we're adding to the special reserve and we don't have a budget for what we will be using the special reserve for, but that's something that will be talked about at each meeting.
any other questions about the budget? At this time, do we need to do anything with it?
You have to
Approve it?
Yep.
Okay.
And that'll be our roll call vote.
I'll make a motion to approve the budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025.
Second.
Motion by trustee Collada and a second by trustee Hubbard. Any discussion? All in,
Roll call.
Mary Ann, would you call the roll?
Collada,
Aye.
Beechman,
Aye.
Ford, Hubbard, Larson,
Aye.
Russo,
Aye,
Lozano, aye.
and it is approved. Number 10, financial reports for April 2024.
Okay, so we are trying to find all this stuff. Well, we've got, so this saw us through, what is this? This is May. So we saw us through April with 2 months remaining. And I'm trying to find what page this is on.
98.
Thank you. Oh, it's at the end, right? I promise our next packet will not be 100 pages.
Don't make promises you can get.
Do it.
I'll call you out on it.
Okay, so so as of April 30th, we're pretty much right on target with everything. Not much. Our revenue had already come in by then. I don't see anything really that sticks out. As we talked about though, in anticipation of fiscal year '25, we were going to make adjustments to allocate monies slightly differently, putting more money into fiction than nonfiction. So if you'll see those on our nonfiction, where are we? Yeah, adult and teen books. Well, we've actually spent 83%, but we are making a concerted effort to really put a lot of thought and training for the staff on how we select materials. And because fiction is the most circulating item in our print collection, we want to put more money into fiction and scale back a little bit in nonfiction, because that's where the public's interests are. So that's a change for next year. But anyway, otherwise, there's not really much else to say, that we're pretty on target where we need to be for the end of April. We have found that with our youth program supplies, we kind of buffered that a little bit for next year, because they just, it ran kind of tight this year, but nothing extravagant. So, I don't know. Does anybody have any questions about the April working budget statement? But if we're low on any of these areas, that's that extra that we can put into special reserves, so. Okay.
Any questions? All right, and moving on then, number 11, do any of the trustees have anything to share tonight?
The Friends of the Library had their annual meeting in April, and there was a wish list that was put together by the library, and they approved the entire list, which was $9,939. I'll go over some of them. One Batavia, they allowed $3,000 for the adult and teen services and youth services. And have a sublimation printer, which is a printer that will print on just about anything, from what I understand. Which, if somebody else wants to explain it, they can. Okay. Well, it was pretty exciting. That was $2,000, and babysitting classes during the summer for 2024, which is something I've never seen before, but it makes sense. From Safety Training Associates for the youth ages 11 and up, that was $3,228. So they were very generous, and this is not the complete list for the year. Old Jo gave a great speech. She was very thankful for the Friends of the Library. Also, she was just very impressed, as we all should be. What a great group that we have that participates in how much money they generate for the library. So, and then, you know, they plan on doing more lists as needed. Anything else you want to add, or?
No, it was such a pleasure to be there, and I'm always impressed by the work that Friends do, and they give such regular, reliable support to the library, and they're open to our ideas and requests. They're wonderful to work with, and not all libraries can say that, so we're very lucky.
And they're going to continue the Wednesday sales as well as the Saturday sales.
Oh, good. Thank you, Chrissy. Anything else from the board to share? Then I'll just mention school's ending. We don't want to think about this now, but there is a reading gap and a summer slide that can happen during summer when kids are away from school. Dominican University, just a short ways away from here, actually did a national study a number of years ago, and the study's title is Reading Programs Close the Reading Gap. So summer reading is actually really important for kids, but even more important is that it's fun. And a famous author wrote, "The more that you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go." And you'll maybe recognize the author who wrote that, but summer reading is just a wonderful time for adults and students to read things that they want and discover new stuff. So I'm sure we'll be hearing about summer reading, but I would encourage everyone to participate.
Daniel, can you give me the name of the study? I know you said it's Dominican University.
I can email it to you. It's called the Public Library Summer Reading Programs Close the Reading Gap.
Okay.
But I can send you a reference to it.
It's a lot, it's a mouthful.
Yeah.
They always are.
All right. One final chance to share. Then we'll move on to directors and librarians' reports.
Well, let's see. So we have a few staff updates. We have, of course, we have Don as our new HR and finance manager. Welcome, Don Robinson. We have two new subs, Jamie Christopher and Louisa Sertz. One is a youth services sub and the other is a library page sub. And then our departures, Lisa Moore, our HR manager, Joe McCain, finance specialist, and Kiara Skinner is moving back to Florida to be with family. She's in the circulation department. And then we had some big anniversaries this last month. Dory is our second longest working employee, right after Michael. Sorry, he does not like to be called Mike. Michael Insert, he's one of our pages. He's been there 32 years, and Dory is second place with 25 years that she's been here at the library. Kate Whittekind, I hope I said that right, yes, is 16 years. And Mallory is our teen librarian in adult and teen services. She's been here for 2 years. We had our staff development day last week on Friday. How many people did we have? Was it 50? Around 50 of the staff, which is a pretty good turnout. And this is our second half-day staff development day. Our guest speaker is with a group they call Awful Library Books.
Their blog is
It's funny, yes.
Oh, it's so funny.
So they do presentations all over the country about collection management. And so they did about an hour and a half Zoom with the staff because they're out of state. And they talked about, and it wasn't just about weeding. Of course, they gave lots of really great suggestions and guidelines for how to weed a collection in a healthy way. But it's really emphasizing how important collection management is. Because it's not just about growing your collection, it's also about understanding how your collection works, how the community uses it, and that you want to grow it wisely. So it's about managing the collection, both the coming in and the needs to go out. So it was, and we've been, as you know, we've been doing some weeding in both adult and youth. So it was very timely for staff to do that. We also briefly we went over the new employee handbook, going fine free in July, starting employee evaluations in July, and we did a review, a run through of code add-on procedures if a child goes missing in the library. That's all right. Megan is in Ireland. So she's not here to give her adult and teen services report, but it is all in here. But Liesl is here.
I am.
And
And it's always awkward, so hello,
Yeah.
everybody on the other side of the room. Well, Daniel gave me the best introduction where summer reading is concerned. Summer reading kicks off officially Friday the 24th, so very soon now. Our theme this year is Adventure Begins at Your Library. That is a library-wide theme. And we run Friday, May 24th through Monday, August 5th. Anybody that has a Batavia card, or in the case of children who goes to a Batavia school but may have a card from another library, may participate in our program. So we're pretty excited about that, and if you've heard the sound of a spinning wheel, you're not insane. We do have a lovely spinning prize wheel downstairs in youth services. We've done what we call pre-registration for the past week and a half, kind of leading up, in addition to our school librarian, Amy Marks, our school services librarian, out at the schools doing school promo visits. So we're getting the kids all fired up, and we are not too shy about getting those grown-ups to sign up too. So the beauty of it is you can read anything you want. It's not school. As Daniel mentioned, we're just trying to prevent that summer slide and encourage kids to read for fun. So that in a nutshell is summer reading. And then we'll have lots of fun, exciting programs as well this summer. A special thanks to the Friends. They were lovely to us, as they always are, about helping us fund many of our summer reading prizes, including some prize books and some of our grand prizes. So thank you to the Friends. And they also generously funded our Jim Gill concert, which is coming up in June. He is wonderful. So thank you so much for that. And thank you also for funding a fun sensory table. So we'll have the ability to do some messy play, so things with water and sand and bubbles and all kinds of fun things like that. That hopefully we can keep in the tub. So thank you to the Friends for that. But jumping back to April, we had a busy month in youth services. Had that little thing called an eclipse going on, and we gave away 96 solar eclipse bags with all kinds of activities, and we were fortunate enough to have quite a large stash of glasses left over from the last time we had an eclipse. They were still good, so we gave away 100 plus eclipse glasses just in youth services alone, and our friends in adult services gave away quite a few too. And as I'm sure was recapped in Megan's report, we had a fun event out back that we welcomed a number of folks to, so it was a lot of fun. Other things, we were fortunate to use some of our per capita money to purchase 2 AWE early literacy stations. What they are is a closed computer system, so no internet access. Think of all those old CD-ROM software games that you used to like play on your computer. It's like that, but it's all in a system without having any discs or anything else to worry about. And we had 65 folks that were our first users last month of that. So that's been wonderful, and we appreciate Andrew Lantham's help in getting everything set up. So like I said, we've been doing a lot of weeding down in youth, and we appreciate the circulation department's assistance. They've been helping us shift a lot of things too, and we're just trying to make things more attractive, more accessible, all that fun stuff. And let's see, a few other highlights. We have been working with our friends in tech services on some call number projects with graphic novels, trying to make sure that all call numbers throughout the library are similar, less confusion that way. And we just this week have moved all of our graphic novels over to a new home and use services. So if you come down, don't panic. We haven't gotten rid of the collection. It's just got a new home. And we're fortunate to be able to use that old nook that they were just for a fun seating area. And that's kind of a work in progress. But an exciting new partnership. Amy Marks, our school liaison librarian, and Mallory Manning, our teen services librarian, have been working twice a month with Markland, who is coming to visit us, which is really wonderful. They're kind of bringing a rotating group of residents, and we're doing some activities with them. We kicked things off in early April with a tour of both departments, and then did some fun games and activities. And we're trying to partner between the 2 departments to help these adults enjoy the library. So that's been a lot of fun, and you probably saw the photos in the board report, so we've been having a good time with that. And then last but not least, we were also fortunate to use some per capita funds to beef up our Spanish collection downstairs and use services. So lots of fun things there. And I mentioned the friends and their generous support of us. We always appreciate that and the hard work that they do. So thank you.
And I just want to do a little shout out. I don't know if any of you have seen the social media post for summer reading. Amy and Kristen and Hans worked on this. It is so wonderful. And it's Amy promoting summer reading. But I don't even want to spoil it. Just you check it out on Instagram. I think it's Instagram. And Facebook. It's just adorable. She did a great job. And Hans makes a few appearances in it as well. And Kristen videotaped the entire thing. It's very cute.
Have the Harmony Bells been installed?
Not yet. Do we know when?
I didn't hear.
The Harmony
Harmony
Bells?
Bells.
No, we're still waiting for
We're trying to think, maybe, because we have some musicians on staff, that maybe we could start a library band with the Harmony Bells and make a little video.
I definitely feel some creative videos coming up.
The staff out there with flashlights. That'd be fun.
All right, thank you for those reports. All right, number 12, or number 13 on our agenda then is closed session. This is for the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body as authorized. So we are going to go into closed session. We are not taking action after the closed session. So once we come back into closed session, we will adjourn. We will go into closed session in a minute. Number 14, I'll just note the upcoming meetings, the Committee of the Whole on June 6th at 6:30?
Yes, did I say 7?
At 6:30.
6:30.
And then the regular board meeting on June 18th, 2024 at 6:30.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll make the motion to adjourn into closed session.
I'll second.
So motion by Russo and second by Larson. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we'll go into closed session in just a couple minutes then.